Ethan Cole sat in his towering glass office, staring out at the skyline he once fought hard to conquer. As the CEO and founder of Cole Tech Industries, he had everything: wealth, power, and global recognition. But lately, he felt a disconnection growing inside him, a gnawing sense that he no longer knew what was really happening in the company he built. His executives always had the right answers. The numbers always looked good. Too good. "Maria," he called out to his assistant, "do you think people are being honest with me?" Maria paused in the doorway. "You mean your team?" "I mean everyone." She hesitated. "They're scared of you, sir. You're the boss. People show you what they think you want to see." That was it, the problem. He didn't want filtered truths. He wanted reality. After a long pause, he looked back at her and said calmly, "I'm going undercover." Maria blinked. "Undercover? As in, no CEO, no private driver, no suits. Just me, applying for a job in my own company. I want to know how it really runs." Maria's mouth dropped open. "You want to pretend to be someone else." "Exactly," he said, already grabbing a plain jacket and tossing his Rolex into a drawer. He spent the next few days crafting a false identity. Daniel Evans, an experienced IT technician recently laid off, looking for a new start. By the end of the week, with a beard grown out and glasses on, he stepped into the HR reception of Cole Tech Industries, holding a freshly printed resume. No one recognized him. "Hi," he said with a smile. "I'm here to apply for the IT support role." And so, the billionaire's real journey began. Daniel Evans, as he was now known, was treated like every other applicant. He waited in line, filled out forms, and was interviewed by a young HR officer named Kelly who didn't know who he truly was. "We need someone who can solve problems quickly," she said. "Not just technically, but with people too. Our support team is overworked." Ethan smiled and nodded. "I'm up for the challenge." He was hired on the spot and given a badge, access card, and directions to the tech support floor. It felt strange to walk into the building he owned without the usual greetings or special treatment. No one looked twice at him. He was introduced to his new manager, Mr. Clayton, a gruff man in his early 50s who barely glanced at his resume. "Fix what breaks, stay out of drama, and don't expect applause," Clayton said flatly. Ethan gave a polite nod. "Understood." On his first day, Ethan saw the cracks. Computers were outdated, systems glitchy, and staff morale low. He watched as senior managers barked orders, ignored feedback, and took credit for others' work. But among the frustration, he also saw sparks of brilliance, young employees with sharp minds and good hearts, who simply lacked guidance. Ethan began quietly fixing not just machines but relationships. He helped colleagues without fuss, stayed late, and never mentioned who he really was. He ate lunch with the janitors and laughed with the interns. People started noticing Daniel. "You're not like the others," said Grace, a cleaner who often passed by his desk. He smiled. "Neither are you." He was starting to see his company through new eyes. And what he saw was both heartbreaking and hopeful. The following weeks were revealing. Ethan, or Daniel as they knew him, noticed a pattern. Employees feared management. Many stayed silent even when things went wrong. People tiptoed around Mr. Clayton, whose leadership style was more like dictatorship than direction. One afternoon, Ethan watched as a bright young intern named Amina hesitantly brought up a suggestion during a team meeting. "I think this software update could speed up the ticket response time," she said. Mr. Clayton rolled his eyes. "You've been here 5 minutes. Let the big boys handle it." The room went quiet. Ethan clenched his jaw but said nothing. That night, he tested Amina's theory himself. It worked. The next day, he casually mentioned the same solution in a one-on-one with Clayton. The manager raised an eyebrow. "Not bad. I'll take the credit on this one," he said smugly. Ethan smiled tightly. Of course. This was the culture, one that crushed ideas before they could grow. He kept notes. Quietly. Carefully. Watching. He also kept building bonds. Grace, the cleaner, often brought him extra coffee. Leo, a night janitor, borrowed tech manuals from the support room. "I read them to learn," Leo said shyly. "I want to be more than this mop." Ethan nodded. You will be. For the first time in years, Ethan felt something shift inside him. The suit had hidden him. But this name, this job, this struggle, it showed him the truth. And he wasn't ready to look away. Ethan's journey took deeper roots as he became a confidant to the ignored and unseen. Every conversation added pieces to the puzzle of what his company had become without him watching. He helped Amina with her coding ideas, gave Grace words of encouragement, and started teaching Leo about software at night. In return, they shared their struggles. Poor pay, zero feedback, and a culture where effort was punished and silence rewarded. Ethan was especially moved by Claire, a sharp, no-nonsense data analyst who didn't suffer fools and refused to flatter higher-ups. She challenged Daniel during a floor-wide project issue. You have good ideas, she said once. But stop hiding. You could do more. You act like you're undercover. He smiled nervously. Maybe I'm just observant. She squinted at him. Yeah, maybe. Her honesty intrigued him. Unlike others, she didn't try to impress. She wanted things to work. Their bond grew slowly. Coffee breaks turned into shared glances. Long walks to the elevator became deeper conversations. And though he never intended it, Ethan started to care, not just about the company, but about Claire. He knew that one day, he'd have to tell her who he really was. But not yet. Not until he finished what he started. Mr. Clayton ruled with authority, but without empathy. He barked orders and avoided accountability. Ethan saw firsthand how even competent workers lost motivation under such leadership. When a team member, Jordan, accidentally deleted a critical client file, Clayton exploded. You idiot! Do you know how much that file was worth? You'll be lucky to have a job tomorrow. Jordan, pale and shaken, walked out of the office, his head low. Ethan stayed late that night, quietly recovering the file from a backup system Jordan didn't know existed. The next morning, he restored it without a word and placed a sticky note on Jordan's desk. Found it. Everyone makes mistakes. D. Word got around. Jordan didn't know who helped him, but his posture changed. He started contributing again. Mr. Clayton, of course, took credit for the recovery in a meeting. Ethan noted everything. Meanwhile, Claire continued to challenge him. You don't belong here, she said. Not in a bad way. You just stand out, even in how you listen. He shrugged. Maybe I just care. You care more than some managers I know. Ethan tucked her words away. They mattered more than she knew. Amina had a gift. Her code was clean, her mind sharp, but she lacked confidence. Ethan encouraged her. What if you pitched your automation tool at the next floor meeting? She hesitated. They won't listen. I will, Ethan promised. The day came. With Daniel beside her, Amina stood in front of a skeptical room and presented her idea, an internal ticket routing system that would speed up response times and reduce workload. Mr. Clayton scoffed, but Claire leaned forward. It could work. Surprisingly, a few others nodded. Though the idea wasn't accepted immediately, something important happened. Amina was finally seen. That night, she thanked Ethan. You made me believe in myself. He smiled. You did that on your own. Ethan grew closer to Grace. One afternoon, they shared lunch in the break room. Grace opened up. I've been here for 12 years, she said. Seen 4 CEOs. Most of them never looked at me, let alone knew my name. Ethan swallowed hard. They should've. She chuckled. You're different, Daniel. The way you talk to people. You remind me of how things were, before this place got cold. He looked at her. Would you do something else if you could? Her eyes lit up. I wanted to go back to school once. Study people. Human resources. But life. He nodded. What if it's not too late? She smiled, but her eyes betrayed disbelief. Thanks for dreaming big for me, Daniel. He meant it. One day, she'd know he had the power to make those dreams real. Claire intrigued Ethan more each day. She was private but passionate, guarded yet honest. One rainy evening, they found themselves waiting out a storm in the company lobby. What keeps you here? Ethan asked. Claire shrugged. I want to change things. From the inside. I believe in data. In truth. But this place makes it hard. And yet you stay. She looked at him. Because change needs someone stubborn enough not to leave. Ethan smiled. Sounds like you're already leading. She gave a small laugh. Yeah, well, two bad leaders don't look like me on paper. They will, he whispered, more to himself than her. They shared a long look before the silence returned. But something unspoken had passed between them. Ethan began quietly pushing back against toxic norms. He corrected unfair schedules, stayed late to help teammates, and even organized a small lunchtime session teaching junior staff about tech efficiency tools. Mr. Clayton disapproved. You're not here to be a mentor. Just fix computers. I'm doing both, Ethan replied calmly. Clayton's eyes narrowed. Watch yourself. But others noticed. Ethan received more smiles, more questions, more trust. And behind the scenes, Maria, still his assistant, monitored the data. Complaints in his department were decreasing. Employee morale, even slightly, was on the rise. She sent him a message through their private channel. They're waking up. Slowly. Proud of you. Ethan responded with a thumbs up and a single line. It's working. 2 months in, Ethan couldn't ignore what he'd learned. He needed to start the process of making change official, but quietly. He reached out to Maria to arrange a secret after-hours meeting with the internal audit team. Only 3 trusted members showed up. Something's wrong with how this company is being led, he told them, keeping the Daniel persona aside just for a moment. We need to start tracking who's lifting others, and who's dragging them down. The team agreed. They would begin a shadow review, quietly documenting acts of leadership, disrespect, innovation, and suppression. No one outside that room knew the winds of change were gathering. Ethan left the meeting with renewed purpose. The billionaire in disguise had begun his quiet revolution. As the weeks passed, Daniel's presence in the company was no longer strange. He had become a steady force, someone people turned to with questions, concerns, or just to talk. Ethan had earned their trust not with a title, but with time. One afternoon, Leo approached him during a break. You think I could ever be more than a janitor? Ethan looked at him seriously. What do you want to be? Leo hesitated. A developer. But I never had the chance. Didn't finish college. Then we start small. I'll help you. 1 hour every evening. Leo blinked. You'd do that? Absolutely. Each evening, after hours, they stayed behind. Ethan taught Leo coding basics, answered questions, reviewed notes. Leo's confidence grew steadily. Others began staying late too, watching, learning, sharing. Ethan had become a mentor, and the seed of cultural change had begun to grow. Despite the progress, Ethan wasn't invisible forever. Whispers began. One of the senior HR personnel thought Daniel looked familiar. Rumors spread. Have you noticed how he talks? One staffer asked. He doesn't act like a tech guy. More like a leader. Claire confronted him in the break room. You're not who you say you are you? Ethan's heart thudded. He paused, then said calmly, What do you mean? She crossed her arms. You walk around like you own the place. And not just in attitude. People listen to you. He smiled gently. Maybe I just care more than most. She stared for a long moment. If you are hiding something, I hope it's for a good reason. That night, Ethan realized the clock was ticking. The truth would come out, sooner than he planned. Mr. Clayton held quarterly reviews. Most employees dreaded them. But Ethan welcomed the opportunity to observe him more closely. When it was Ethan's turn, Clayton barely looked up. You've been useful. Quiet. I like that. Ethan nodded. Thank you. You've also stirred a little too much. Extra meetings, mentorship, ideas. That's not your job. Helping others helps the company. Clayton sneered. You want to climb ranks, don't you? Learn your place. After the meeting, Ethan met with Maria. He's digging a hole deeper every day, she said. Ethan nodded. And we're collecting the dirt. With Daniel's guidance, Amina fine-tuned her automation system and began tracking real-time data. The results were undeniable. Response rates improved by 30%. This time, instead of asking, she implemented it on a trial scale. Claire noticed immediately. "This is brilliant. Who helped you?" Amina smiled. "Daniel believed in me. Gave me the courage." Claire's eyes flickered. "Of course he did." That afternoon, Claire approached Ethan. "You're making waves. Good ones, I hope." She nodded. "Just be careful. You're not invisible anymore." He chuckled. "I never wanted to be." At the monthly town hall, a new employee recognition program was introduced. Surprisingly, Grace was awarded Staff Spirit of the Month. She stood frozen as her name was called. "Grace has served this company faithfully for years," the host said. "Always with a smile, always helping others." Grace accepted the plaque with tears in her eyes. "Daniel told me I mattered," she said quietly at the podium. Turns out he was right. The applause was long, sincere. It was the first time many truly saw her. Ethan watched from the crowd, pride swelling in his chest. Claire called an emergency meeting about a data leak that could damage client trust. She spoke firmly, clearly, and took the lead without hesitation. When the issue was resolved, Ethan praised her. "You handled that like a CEO." She rolled her eyes. "Not funny. I'm serious. You're a natural leader." Claire looked away. "Leaders like me don't get picked. They get passed over." "Not anymore," Ethan said quietly. Claire's suspicion deepened. That night, she opened her laptop and began searching for the name Daniel Evans, but what she found shocked her. Claire waited for Ethan in the parking lot after work. Her face was unreadable. "I looked you up. Daniel Evans doesn't exist." Ethan inhaled deeply. "I was going to tell you." "Who are you?" He paused, then said, "I'm Ethan Cole." Her breath caught. "You're him? The CEO?" "Yes." She turned away, stunned. "Why?" "To see what I built. To see what I ignored." Claire was quiet for a long time. "I should be furious. But part of me understands." He reached out. "Will you let me explain everything?" She nodded once. "Tomorrow." The next day, Ethan called a secret meeting with Maria and the senior leadership team. "It's time," he said. "We go public." They scheduled a company-wide announcement. Employees gathered in the main hall. When Ethan walked to the front, clean-shaven in a suit, there were audible gasps. "Some of you knew me as Daniel," he began. "But I am Ethan Cole." Silence. "I went undercover because I didn't trust the numbers. I didn't trust the reports. I needed to see the truth with my own eyes." He paused. "And what I saw broke my heart." He looked around. "But it also gave me hope." The reaction was mixed. Some employees cheered. Some felt betrayed. Others were speechless. Mr. Clayton, however, stormed out. "I won't be humiliated," he shouted. "You think this little trick makes you noble?" Ethan calmly replied, "No, Mr. Clayton. But it does make me awake." Clayton was placed on leave pending investigation. Ethan invited every department to share feedback directly. Meanwhile, Amina received a promotion. Leo was officially enrolled in a developer mentorship program. Grace was offered HR training sponsorship. The shift had begun. Claire stood beside Ethan at the next leadership briefing. Employees watched with new respect. "We're building forward," Ethan said. "From the ground up. Together." He outlined new initiatives, open forums, anonymous suggestion boxes, leadership coaching, and a company culture council, led by Claire. "Why me?" she had asked earlier. "Because you already lead," he answered. The meeting ended with a standing ovation. Later, Claire and Ethan shared a quiet moment on the rooftop garden. "This company won't just be successful," she said. "It'll be good." Ethan smiled. "That's the dream." And now it was real. This is a Hellengold story, where truth meets healing, and every scar becomes strength.